Okay, right, let's hit it, as I think they say in the States. Flashing lights because it's a party, because when Kodak announced the relaunch of Kodachrome, they used the K word. They said, Kodachrome, we've thought about it. Don't hold your breath, but we are looking into the possibility of reintroducing Kodachrome. Seriously, don't hold your breath. There is probably about that much chance that they will reintroduce Kodachrome. The problem with Kodachrome is it's an immensely complicated film. Actually, it isn't, because if you think about what it is, it's incredibly simple film. I'll just put it down. There we are. It's an immensely simple film, but the process of making it and the process of processing it is actually really quite complicated. If we say it quickly, it's a tri-pack black and white. It's not even a colour film. The Kodachrome film contains no dyes, no dye couplers. It's just 3 layers of black and white emulsion with colour filters in between. That's all it is. If you say that quickly, it's dead easy to make. I bet it isn't. Well, we know it isn't, because those colour filters need to be of very high purity and the emulsions need to be sufficiently different that you can develop them independently of each other. They also have to have stuff in there that will trigger the dye couplers that go with the developers that are associated with each individual layer. When it comes to processing it, E6 is 6-7 steps. What's E6? Black and white developer, reversal, colour developer, bleach fix. One other in there, it's stabilizer or something. Kodachrome is remove remjet. This is the first problem you've got. You remember the remjet? I did a video on remjet, you know, how to upset your local processor. Remove the remjet. Black and white developer. Bang, right, black and white developer. Reverse 1 layer. So, and it's done by exposure to light. It's not chemically done. It's done by exposure to red light or blue light, or whichever light it is that they reverse, whichever side it is that they reverse first. And you do that through the back of the film, or the emulsions, which doesn't matter. You do one from one side, and that's 1 colour layer now reversed, and that colour layer is now developed as a positive colour image. And the colours are, the dyes are formed by the colour couplers in the developer, which are activated as the developer oxidizes. It sets off the colour couplers that you form this new colour layer on the now positive image. Once that's done, wash it thoroughly. Re-expose the other side to do a different complementary colour. Process that. You've now got a colour layer, or you've now got a black and white image sandwiched in the middle of 2 colour images. So you have to chemically reverse that because you can't get the light to it, and develop that. And that's the 3rd layer. So it's now tri-pack colour. Right, here's start the problem of bleaching that. You're going to bleach out all the silver and fix. And it's 16 steps if you include the wash and stabilisation at the end. So it's a long and complicated process. Why bother? Well, I've got some lying around here, and I'm not overly impressed with it. Some of it was shot by my father, and it's of me preschool, so you're not seeing that. That's far too embarrassing. Some of it was shot by me. I don't know, maybe the processor was duff. It was done in France. It's just not what people expect. And it's certainly not what you can see if you search Kodachrome on the internet. And some of the images are to die for. There's 30-year-old images. 30-year-old? There are images shot in the late 30s, mid to late 30s. Kodachrome hit the general public in 1935. The name has been around since 1913, but it was released on the public in 1935, and there are images from the 1930s, 1940s. which are as good now as the day they were taken, and they are absolutely superb. The other thing to do is to look up Steve McCurry and the last roll of Kodachrome. The last roll to come off the coating plant, Steve McCurry got. He was given it and said, go and expose that. I think it took him about 18 months. And he selected every image exceedingly carefully. It was only one shot. Test images on digital and all sorts of stuff. And then eventually, okay, right, it's done. They do that. Everything absolutely perfect. Click. And this is the story of him receiving the film, going around the world to shoot this last ever roll of Kodachrome. Hopefully not. And it developed, and the resultant images, which are absolutely superb. It was the livestock of National Geographic. Those of you who are old enough to have gone to school in the 70s and 80s, and they used to get National Geographic because it had pictures of semi-naked ladies in it. It's not that sort of magazine, for goodness sake, you know, but teenage boys desperate in those days. These images were all shot on Kodachrome. Any good colour images were produced on Kodachrome. It's a hell of a heritage, and we just might get it back. It's infinitely better than the probability of getting it back was even 3 months ago, when there was no possibility. There is now. Kodak are thinking, can it be done? Let's hope it can. And we'll see you again soon. Hopefully I'll have come up with something slightly more exciting to do with film that I've actually got, rather than what we might have in the future. But we will see you soon.